Good morning from the front of Chaparral Motorsports. We're about ready to take off and do another tire test of these Shinko 705 tires. This is going to be a 70% street tire, 30% dirt tire, but as like all of our tests, we're going to put it through its paces with as many terrains as we can find. Today we are on the Honda Africa Twin. I'm imagining the deep sand might be a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see. The street pressures of these are supposed to be about 40 psi. But, we're not going to be able to run 40 psi off-road, so we're going to go ahead and leave these at 30 psi. It's a good all-around working pressure, and we're going to give them a go. Now the bike that we're on today is a Honda CRF1000L. It is the DCT model. There is no clutch and there is no shifter. Alright, just a little playing around there in the parking lot before we took off. These tires are really slippery out of the crate, so make sure that when you mount new tires, you ride on them 50 or 100 miles before you start doing anything excessive. Make sure you get them all scrubbed in so that they're not slippery anymore. Now, one way that I like to scrub tires in for the fun of it is I like to take them out to the wash. I mean, the decomposed granite and sand there just kind of buffs them out and takes off any slipperiness. Man, I keep trying to grab the clutch and I keep trying to adjust the shifter when I come to a stop. Man, it's so tricky. Going from a manual transmission bike to a DCT automatic transmission bike, man, I tell you what, coming up to stop signs and stoplights is a bit... I mean, you're just trying to grab for a clutch and trying to grab for a shifter and it's just not there. It's kind of funny. That being said, the DCT transmission on this motorcycle is phenomenal. If you haven't never tried one, I highly recommend it. Now, back to the tires. Any tire, brand new tire that you put on your motorcycle, you should definitely take it easy for the first 50 or 100 miles so you can get those tires scrubbed in. I've been known to go to a gravel parking lot, air down to like 20 psi, ride around for 15 minutes, pull back off, air up to normal pressures, and boom, dialed. Now, initial impressions of these tires on the highway is the fact that they're super smooth. It literally feels like I'm on a street bike tire. There's no knobs, there's no vibration, there's no noise. It's just a good old-fashioned round rubber street tire. Now, how this tire performs off-road is going to be really the kicker for me. It's going to be one of those things, like, do you put this tire on your adventure bike if you're going to be getting off and doing some gravel roads, maybe coming across a sand wash or two from time to time, doing some water crossings. I mean, there's lots of terrain that you get hemmed up in on an adventure bike if you choose to make that turn to take it off-road. Oh, so angry we were doing the speed limit past the school section. Go figure. Alright, first feel. I mean, this is the very first dirt road I've ever done on an E705. First time I've had them on a motorcycle of mine. Traditionally, it's a little bit less aggressive than I would normally put on. Woo! Than I would normally put on one of my bikes because I really like to have a knob for extreme terrain. So it's going to be interesting to see how it does and how I do with it. It's probably the better... Man, this just feels good though. I mean, not just a traditional dirt road. I mean, it's getting some good traction. You can see the speed that I'm picking up quickly. Here we go. Ready? And I'm not feeling those little tiny sandy washes. Obviously, they're not deep, but I'm not really getting crazy sideways when I'm hitting those. They brake really well. And I'm really impressed with how much this is propelling me forward. Now again, the front tire not having a true knob on it will be interesting once we get down into the deep stuff here. Look at that. Man, it does a great job just picking up and going. So, this is where it's going to get a little bit sandier and a bit more fun. Whoa! Kind of all over the place on the front tire there. Alright, here we go, sand. Whew. Now Now the chevron pattern on the front tire should help us to maintain a line forward, which, dude, I'm impressed. There's almost no wiggle in the front end. That angled chevron pattern in the front is doing a phenomenal job at keeping this thing straight as an arrow as we're traveling here. Way better than I thought it was going to perform. All right, here's some softer stuff over here. Here, right here, some sugary stuff right here. Anytime there's a hill climb involved, momentum at the bottom is your friend. Dude, cake. Oh. Oh, river crossing. Oh man. Woo! Time for a breather. So I've been out here about 45 minutes testing in sand, and I gotta say, I've never been stuck on this tire. It's continued to push me forward through everything that I've put it through so far. Just phenomenal. I'm really surprised. I'm very much more surprised than I thought I was going to be. Very impressive. All right. Now let me catch a breath while the Africa Twin cools down a little bit. All right, break time's over. Oh, there's some rocks. Oh. Whoa! The heck? That was a huge rock. Buried in super soft sand. It's gonna go over. Damn it. Come on. Oh, that was close. Hopefully I'm gonna come down. I'm not gonna power up through this for sure. I'm gonna try to angle the bike this way and head out and get out over there. So close to the top. Jeez. This is a good test. Side hilling is always a challenge because it's soft. The back end's gonna wanna slip around like that. As I expected, I should say. Look at that mess I just made. Woo! All right, we're now going to jump off on Highway 18 here, Waterman Avenue. We're going to head up to Waterman Canyon, get some nice little backcountry byway riding in. And when we're done with that, we're going to try to get off onto some actual dirt roads and maybe even some hill climbs. Anyway, this is a little backcountry road that we like to take to kind of show the backcountry highway, byway type terrain. The road isn't super well paved. I mean, there are potholes, what should be tar snakes that are just left open grooves in the cement. So it gives a good representation of a lot of the little backcountry roads here in America. A lot of times there's gravel across this road, there's water that comes across this road, there's little rocks that fall down from the hillside, sometimes there's tree branches. I mean, this road's really a mixed bag. We're just gonna leisurely cruise down this little back road. Well, here's some mud. Let's see how mud does. Whoa. So this here's what I was talking about earlier. You got the sand that's on here, you've got water that's washed across. this road's a mixed bag. You never know what's going to happen when you come across. So traction control's off. This here is wet pavement. Let me accelerate. Dude, that tire just stuck. Propelled us forward. I'd say wet weather traction is adequate. And that's probably the most we're going to see today as far as wet weather goes. So something, guys, something. It's a little high speed cornering. This is Highway 18. Some of these corners are phenomenal. Being able to lean the bike over and feel what the tires grip like when at good lean. For example, this here is a nice 40-mile-an-hour corner. Go ahead and downshift the gear. Got good grip. I don't feel any slip there at all whatsoever. There we go. There's a good 25-mile-an-hour corner for you. Come a little heavy on the brakes. Acceleration out. Come in no brakes. Nice lean. Oh, boots dragging on the ground. Pegs touching. Tar snakes. Tar snakes are the arch enemy of some tires. I'm trying my best to ride over these right now, zigzagging back and forth. I'm not feeling much slip, but that's not to say a whole lot because it's only 75 degrees at the moment. It's beautiful up here right now. Now when it gets to be 100 degrees, these tire snakes get slippery. And that's where some people make some big mistakes. They get that little slip and they freak out and grab the brakes and the bike gets disrupted, suspension gets disrupted, and they end up flying off the motorcycle. The key to riding on tar snakes like these is you can see it only lasts like 2 or 4 inches, depending on the tar snake and how it was put down. So, for example, in this one here, if you're coming around and right here you get a slip, it's just going to go slip and then it's going to grab the pavement that's just behind it. So when it does that quick little slip, just go ahead and ride through it. Don't touch the brakes, don't panic, don't do anything like that. Just ride through it. The tire's going to grab pavement again and you're going to keep going right around. Right over there, around that corner, we're going to come over. There's a dirt road that's going to take us right through the little saddle right there and then up to the top of that mountain. It's called Marshall Peak. All right, we got traction control turned off. This is going to be a nice sandy and rocky road. Now, unlike the other roads that we've traveled on in some of our other tests, this one here is highly traveled. It goes up to a prime paragliding and hang gliding location. So this is a very public road that people travel. So we got to be a little bit more careful on this road because there is lots of traffic. Oh, here we go. Ready? A little bit rockier here. It's amazing how much this terrain changes from time to time that I come up here. Literally a week ago, this was all super smooth, sandy. That sand's been washed away enough by, I guess, the cars that have traveled over it, and then the wind that picks up here in the evening time, blowing that topsoil away. Because I don't remember these rocks being here on my last trip through. All right, here we go for the uphill climb. It's really loose and rocky up there. Get a little bit of momentum. Back end's all over the place, but it is grabbing traction and pushing forward. So it's okay if the back end gets squirrely, and that's something that those who are new to dirt road riding have to understand, man. That back end just gonna bounce around. You gotta let it go. You gotta let it jump around and find its groove. All right, so here we're gonna go ahead and do the downhill descent. Got ABS off, so we should have full traction. Let's go ahead and stop on the hillside here. Pretty good. Oh! Front end slid out a little bit. Yep. So front end tuck action going on. So that is a problem going downhill like that. I was trusting the front brake too much and ground gave out. Alright guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited. We get to go exploring or adventuring right now. I've never been down this road. That gate right there has been closed a lot of the time. some nice rocky terrain right here. That big granite rock sticking out of the side of the mountain across the road. The side hill action of these tires is a little weak just because the side is so round and there's no knobs on the side. It just kind of slides down a little bit, almost like backing in, but kind of the opposite. Ready? So overall, I'm highly impressed with these tires. The only place that I felt that they've lacked today is front tire side traction. Obviously coming down that steep hill, like right here, that front tire just wants to push down into that wash instead of being able to climb up and out as a knobby tire could and would. Washing in corners when it gets sandy, but then again, if it was a knobby tire, it wouldn't be doing that. So I really think that that's the only negative point that I can give these tires at the moment, is the fact that that front tire, like right here, if I were to grab front brake, even a little bit coming into that, the front end just wants to wash out and disappear. All right, we have successfully made it back to Chaparral Motorsports after testing the Shinko 805 tires all day long. Got about 150 miles on these things. We did lots of street, we did lots of dirt, we did sand washes, we did all kinds of crazy stuff. These Shinko 705s really surprised me today. As mild of a tread pattern as they have, they really performed well. That front tire really blew me away. The only time I really didn't like the front tire at all was on downhills. It just wanted to skip out. I mean, I fell down 3 times because it skipped out. I saved it from falling over lots of times, but it just wants to disappear. There's really not a good enough side knob to be able to grab when it wants to slip out. Here on the rear tire, you can see these things lean over really well. Bombing down the highway, they're super smooth as a street tire. Off-road, they hooked up. They did a really good job. I was really surprised in the sand at how well this tire propelled us forward. Pretty amazing. Anyway, Shinko 705s. If you got a big adventure bike or a dual sport bike that you want to handle like a street tire on the street, then I highly recommend these tires. They're going to give you lots of longevity. They're really inexpensive and they do a really good job. If you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up. And if you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, hit that subscribe button and, more importantly, the notification bell so you can be notified when a new video is released. And that's it. I'm Bradshaw. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there.